Recording in progress.
Lauren,
Oh, good morning.
I guess I shouldn't say that because people watching this, it might not be morning.
Well, it's morning to us, and let's be honest, that's the important thing.
It is. Maybe we should tell them what they're listening to.
This is the Off the Cuff podcast with me, Justin DeWeese, and her, my beautiful wife, Ashley DeWeese, with her weird hand habits.
Look, when are you going to get over it? That's
I'm
what I
not.
do. That's what
I
I
know,
do.
DJ Kitten Mittens. There's an old throwback. That's why I called her when we first started dating, because if you ever spent time in the physical presence of my lovely wife, man, does she love talking with her hands.
I feel
Question.
like it's just the added bonus to the animation of my face. So that's it's like the full experience.
All I get is the full experience. But
That is
question,
true.
were you always a hand talker, or is that something that developed during your educational career? Because I could see how that would develop from teaching and like pointing at the
Right.
board and keeping the kids engaged and whatnot.
I don't know. I've always been like a very passionate person.
I was going to say in your face, but same diff.
That too. So I would assume it's always been there, to be honest, but I don't know.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Gotcha.
It's just it's just who I am.
So, to fill you in, lovely listeners, yesterday, that amazing beauty and myself treated ourselves to a little spa day,
We did.
and
And
it was delightful.
it was delightful. It wasn't long enough. Definitely, but
I
it
mean, are
was
they ever? But let's,
no, no, that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like it's never sufficient, really.
but let's be honest. Had it gone longer, then you would have been embarrassed because this guy likes to fall asleep while he's getting massaged, and this guy's got a snoring problem.
Well, let's back this up a little bit. So, first of all, thank you for planning or suggesting that for us because this is something we've been working on, right?
Yes,
Uh, because here's the deal.
here's the deal.
Justin is pretty much always on board for most things. Like for most things, if I'm like, hey, I want to do this, or hey, I think this would be fun for us to do. There's not a whole lot of things that you're like, yeah, we're not doing that. Right.
True. I like to experience life.
Right. So I mean, I could send him a message. I say send him a message because that's just often how we communicate, text, message, whatever. But like I could say to him like, "Hey, let's go do X next week or this week for our date or just because or whatever." And for the most part, he'd be like, "Yeah, cool, let's do it." But for ladies listening, even if you are a woman like myself who likes the idea of being in control of things. That's another episode. Um, it is nice to have your husband say, "Hey, let's do this," or "I've planned this," or "I've scheduled this," or "I want to do this. Can you help to make this happen?" We like that. We like that. And so that's an area we've been working on, right? Because even though this is where we've talked on other episodes, right? About how like women think this and men are thinking this way. And I would assume that you can, this is where you can interject here. Like,
Oh, thank you for giving me permission to speak on our podcast. How kind of you.
this is where you, for the most part, you don't need me to suggest for most things, like, you don't need me to be like, hey, let's go play mini golf, right?
Right?
Like you're fine with you would be fine with just like, hey Ash, like let's go play mini golf and that would be great for you, right?
Yes.
So that's where I'm just saying that's where often like men and women's brains differ is you don't necessarily need me to initiate that idea or whatever to feel loved or thought about or cared about. Whereas women, like it's not always enough for me to just be like, hey, I think we should have a spa date. Do you want to do this? Like it means more to me that you say, hey, I've scheduled a spa day for us, or I want us to do a spa day. Can you help me with the
Right.
logistics? Right?
Right. So yes, and so this is a addendum that it's also about figuring out the way the relationship works, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is going to work the best when I say, "Hey, I would like us to go get couples massages. Line it up."
Right.
Because the other way is I think to myself, "Hey, let's get couple massages." And I book it and we go and we pull in the parking lot and you go, "This place?"
Right. That is true. You know that, and I hadn't thought of it in that way. Because obviously, like we've had this conversation, like I said, it's been something that we've been working on, or by working on, I mean like it's been a point of contention and we've been trying to figure out our way through it. And so I think what I've learned, we'll tell you about the spot. There's stuff to tell you about the spa day, but I think what I learned from this it was initiated early last week, is when he messaged me and was like, "Hey, I would like us to go do this. Can you get it scheduled?" In this capacity, like I think you're right. Like I don't need necessarily for you to take care of the logistics. Like sometimes in a situation that might be the case, but I think most often it's not about I don't want to take care of the logistics. It's just I want to know that this was your idea that
Right.
you wanted to do this thing for us.
Right.
And so by you sending me a message going like, "Hey, I would like us to go get massages next week. Can you set that up?" That gave me both of what I need, which was you planning something or having the idea or the desire to do something like this with me, but it also allowed me to have the control that I like to have.
Right. To let your
Oh,
inner bougie pick the deets.
so anyways, that's an example. Maybe that's something that you struggle with in your relationship and this little scenario help. So first of all, just thank you because like, and I told you that the other day, like, I was caught off guard by you doing that. It's not been typically what you have done in the past to say, "Hey, I want us to go do this." Because you didn't even ask me if I wanted to do that.
Right.
You just said, "Hey, next week I would like us to."
Right.
And so
Well,
I didn't,
life works best when I give you your opinion.
I mean, sometimes yes. So yeah, I'm really thankful. It felt really, really good. It actually then I was like, I was looking forward to it. Like it wasn't on my brain every moment of every day from the time you sent me that message to the time we went, but there were different points. It was interesting how it popped up. And this goes into like, this is like a sub nug of having something on the calendar. And I'm not just talking like in regard to like a date or something, even for yourself. Like when you have something on the calendar, it's that carrot out there that pushes you to like keep going or
Right.
to trudge through the whatever. Because there were a couple different points between setting this up last week and knowing the day that it was coming where I was in a pocket of like, ugh, and then it never failed that swooped in of I remembered, oh, Tuesday, we get to go. And it was just a nice little booster uplift because I knew I had that thing to look forward to. And that gives you the little bit of fuel to move through the interim. So thank you. It was nice. I look forward to more instances like this ongoing. And ladies, that doesn't let you off the hook from ever initiating or planning, but it was nice because typically it's been on my side.
Right.
So I appreciate it. I
Understood.
appreciate you.
Trying to be better for you, Chief. Mission
Um,
accomplished.
okay, so yeah, so we went and We before our massage, they have the option for hydrotherapy. They have a space that has a cold plunge pool, like a I say a big pool. It's not like a huge pool, but like
Well, this spa was put in an old hotel, so it's a hotel pool, is
sure,
what
yeah,
that pool is.
yeah. And so they have a pool that is a cold plunge essentially. They have a hot tub, and then they have two big sauna rooms in there as well. So we were able to, for the 30 minutes prior to our massage, go into that room and use any of those elements that we wanted. And so we did all of those things.
We did.
We did. And, I learned, I really liked that because I feel like yesterday allowed for not only like connection time, but it's also a smaller example of like doing hard things or doing challenging things with your significant other. And again, it wasn't a huge thing, but it had been a hot minute since I
I see
have,
what you did there.
it had been a hot minute since I had done a cold plunge, like full submission, other not like head, but neck down in a cold plunge. And so having that opportunity yesterday, because we didn't have to do it, but I was called to do it in that moment and it felt, obviously like having you there was good. So I guess, I don't know, like doing things like that with your significant other,
Sure.
I think it's a bonding experience. I think it can bring you closer together. It also is allows you to see each other's vulnerabilities. Um, it allows you to see your significant other like work through something, push past, overcome something. And
Yeah.
I would love to hear, I mean, I know where you stand on this, but I would love for you to share your thoughts on this. But like, I enjoy being able to witness, be a part of seeing you do something that is uncomfortable for you, do something that is challenging for you, and be able to be witness to that and see you do that. Like that's incredibly attractive, it's endearing, and I don't know, it just increases my connection and desire for you.
Yeah, I mean that's the fruit of life, right? Of like we're meant as people to grow and challenge ourselves and whatnot. And so when you can witness your partner do that or do that with your partner, like it's only going to strengthen your relationship. That's why I made you jump off a cliff before we got married.
Right?
I had to
Right.
make sure you had that dog in you.
Well, yeah, because I mean, didn't it, I don't know, and maybe I'm overthinking this or romanticizing what I would hope that your thoughts were. Yeah. But I'd like to think yesterday, because yesterday I didn't have to cold plunge. Like I didn't have to go in
Correct.
full body. I didn't have to go all the way in.
Correct.
Um, I stepped my way through it. I pulled on tools that I had of like my breathing tools and just
Yeah.
coaching myself mentally through it and did all of that. Did it make you like think anything about me as you were watching me do that? As you were watching me do something that there was for no reason, like I did not have to do that at all yesterday. And you know that it was uncomfortable and you know that like I don't love super cold water and
Right.
being cold. So I guess my question to you is as you watched me go ahead and do that yesterday and do the things that I had to do for myself in order to be able to do it, did it bring up any sort of thoughts or
Yeah, no, I
feeling?
was extremely proud of you in that moment. Because again, like you didn't have to do any of it, right? Like we could have just sat in the hot tub in the sauna the whole time.
Mhm.
But no, you and we stepped into the water and like you worked your way down and yeah, all the way up to your neckline. No, I was extremely proud of you.
And I did it before you did, which is typically not the way it goes for us,
True
right?
story.
So
True
I think that was
story.
something else. Like typically it's like, oh well, he's gonna do it, so I'm not gonna not do it because he's doing it. And so yesterday was one of those things where not only did was there no reason that I needed to do it, I didn't even wait to see if you were going to do it first.
Right. You just put on your big girl panties and got with it.
I did, and I was.
Well, like I said,
I think
very
there's
proud
more
of
for
you.
me to unpack there, but yeah.
Sure.
So yeah, so we did that. Well, we got in the sauna first, didn't we? Like we dipped our
Nope.
toes into the cold and we were like, oh, this is
Right. Just to
cold.
see what it was like. Cause, they say cold plunge and you look at a big pool like that. You're like, there's no way it's really that cold.
Oh, it was.
It was quite, I mean, it was, listen,
We've been in colder water.
we've
We've
done
gotten
cold
into colder
plunges with
water.
like ice floating around us. So
Right.
the water wasn't that level of cold, but yes, it was very cold. So yeah, when we walked in, we dipped our toes into the proverbial water and then we sat in the hot tub for a bit because my girl over there loves her some
Ugh,
hot tub sitting.
I love me some hot tub time.
And then we got out of that and we went into the sauna and they were dry saunas. They weren't steam. Um, and we get in the sauna and we sit down and I lean back against the wall and get comfortable. She leans back against the wall. She goes, "Oh, that's hot.
Well, but I
We're
knew
in
it
a
would be
sauna."
no, but I knew it would be hot, but I it felt like it was if that was something that someone was supposed to lean on, it felt like it shouldn't be hot to the touch. Like it should be some kind of material that doesn't get that
Some
hot so that
sort
when
of
you're leaning back,
magical thing that it
I don't know. I
ignores
just
all the rest of the room.
well, it felt like it was burning me and that didn't make sense.
So anyway, that was entertaining. But we sat in there for 10 minutes.
Which by the way, out and about like outside in nature, I'm all about it being hot. Like even when it's uncomfortable, I would much rather like deal with hot
Sure.
than cold. Saunas are not really my cup of tea yet. I mean, it could become that. So it that actually like the sauna is actually probably more challenging for me than like the cold plunge stuff because like I was telling you and this, the world will show you where you're not free. Like that the sauna is challenging for me not just because it's like so hot, but it's hot and I don't have any, I'm just sitting there. So like I'm sitting in this
Right.
super hot space and I'm just having to like endure it with nothing going on. And that's challenging. But I did think yesterday when I was saying that to you, like if I had something to do, like, but that's part of it, right?
Right.
Like,
Because you don't need something to do.
right. I ultimately like ideally you wouldn't.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's what I meant.
So that's where it's like that is a challenge to sit in the stillness with this heat and be able to focus the mind, focus the brain, like regulate your system so that you can just
Right.
be in that environment without needing because what it brought up for me yesterday was thinking about as we've discussed like that need for distraction. Distract me from the discomfort,
Right.
which is truly what causes stress, strife, frustration, problems in our life is because we are always looking for something to distract us
Right.
from the thing that we don't want to face. And in that situation, like I didn't want to face what that heat felt like and have to endure it and move through it until our time was up. And so I wanted something to distract me to make it a little bit more comfortable for me. And that is a greater lesson or picture of what we do in so many aspects of our life. What is the thing that can distract me from doing the thing that I know that I need to do that actually will provide the best growth for me?
Alternatively, just the ability to sit and not be distracted
Right.
is a superpower nowadays to be able to,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't make for great podcast content, but like we all need, and I think that's why you hear so many people talk about meditation and whatnot now versus, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever, because the world is chock full of distractions. I can
It's
pick up
noisy.
this thing and
Right.
everything ever is right there. Like I don't ever have to be bored. But the reality is our brains crave and need that boredom. You need to be able to sit and just be still.
Well, it's that conversation of building we've built a dependency on the external
Right.
and belief that we need external things in order to survive and thrive. And what we really need is an undoing of that conditioning so that what if it's just you? What if it's just you and the Lord above? Like getting yourself to a place where you don't need anything other than
Right.
yourself and your connection to God to sustain.
Right.
Like that really ultimately should be the goal, right? Like I should be able to sit with myself, be with myself, no matter the circumstances. And I don't need anything beyond me and the big man upstairs to do anything.
Right. Yep. So we got out of the sauna, which was clocking at 145 degrees, and we walked over to the cold plunge. And that's when my lovely wife got all the way in and up to her neck. I only walked in up to my waist, which if you're a guy, you know what cold water does. It was still brisk and refreshing. And so
Well, and
we
that's
did
a
that.
we got out, and I was surprised because I had gone under, and then I was ready to like get out and go in the thing, so I was getting out to go do that, and you started to follow me, and I was like, "What? Like you're not going to do it?"
It wasn't the moment. And so we got out of the cold plunge. We got back into the hot tub, and that was an experience because
Yeah,
it was like your legs had fallen
prickly pain.
asleep and then woke up. I mean, it was pins and needles throughout,
Yeah.
which it's probably the point of contrast therapy. I'm definitely not a doctor or a water guy, so don't ask. Um, and then we got out of the hot tub, back into the cold plunge. And then because my wife had been chiding me and making fun of me and mocking me the entire time,
I
I
did
did get all
not.
the way in. And then we went and sat back in the sauna for a bit before moving on to the massage.
Yeah. So we went to the massage, and this is the first time we've done couples massagers before. This is the first time that we've had uh, a male masseuse and a female masseuse. It's always been two females before. And so when I booked it, I let him know. I'm like, hey, that we got a dude and a girl. And he was like, okay. And so then, and I think we had the conversation before because I thought maybe you wouldn't want a male masseuse,
Yep, do not care.
which is interesting because some guys would.
Oh, I'm sure a lot of guys would, but once you lay down on that table and you close your eyes, like who knows who's touching you? For all I know, the two that we had assigned to us walked out of the room and some other people came in. Couldn't tell you. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a certain level of trust in that
Right.
room that you got to let go.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we did that. He ended up, and it was only really because of the way that we walked and on my part, like the way that we walked in. Because when we were in there and the male masseuse was on one side and the female masseuse was over here, and they were explaining to us like, do you guys care? And we're like, it doesn't really matter who works on who. And they're like, okay, well, this is his table, this is my table. And we were just already set up in that way. Like that's where we were standing. And so that's why like that's the way that it shook out. But yeah, no, it was great. 60 minutes goes by like that. I
Blink of a
am
dang
very
eye.
I am very proud of you that you did not end up snoring.
Hey man,
It
growth.
was growth for sure. Yeah, and so then we I don't know that there's really anything to share about that. I mean, it was a massage.
Well, it was a relaxing massage. I will say that at some point we need to find a place where two people at a time massage you because that would be
It would
amazing.
be amazing to have more going on at one time,
Right. Have
for
someone
sure.
working your shoulders while someone else working your feet. Let's
Right.
go.
And we do want to go to a place. I mean, I say you more so in particular, but like when you rub on mine, I enjoy it. That would actually like massage your butt, which we're probably gonna have to go international for that because I don't know that a lot of places in the United States allow them to touch your butt. That's legal.
Yeah, I don't know. They might do it over the towel or blanket or whatever if you
Maybe.
asked.
You don't hear about it much.
Well, it's one of those things, don't ask, don't tell sort of thing.
Well, but it's one of those things, like you said, like our glutes get very, I mean, we work our glutes in training. And so
Right.
you want to have that area massage too, but I get it. There's a lot of shady
Just
stuff that
gotta
goes
rely on
down.
each other, girl.
Right. Right. So yeah, so that was our day. It was great. I was hella tired, relaxed, if you will, the rest of the day. Which is crazy because you're like, well, why why would you be tired after a massage? But
Well, it releases things and
yeah.
yada yada yada, backs you out of that fight or flight,
It's definitely
allows you to
something that
truly
we
relax.
talked about, like setting as a goal of looking at how to turn this into something that we can do on a monthly basis to start. Just because
Well, we just
it's a,
go ahead.
no, I'm just saying, just because it's not just from like a couple's connection perspective, but also just for your own health and wellness in your body, like having that consistently is good for you.
Well, we just need to find a masseuse that is willing to help homeschool the kids, take care of that, and provide massages on a needed basis, and
Right.
boom.
A house manager that has
Yeah.
her masseuse certificate. What's it called? Massage certificate? Massage
Massage, I don't know.
therapist? Massage
Right.
therapist, I think is what they're called.
Again, there's a lot of trust in that room. I didn't see any paperwork on the wall. For all I know, those people
You don't
started
always have to have,
yesterday.
I mean, well, true. And you don't always have to have paperwork, as we know.
Right.
So anyways, go on a spa date. Tell your
Listen, the nugs are work within the realms of your relationship, right? Like we talked about. I came up with the idea. She came up with the logistics so that it met all of her stringent criteria for massage places, not off the strip nooks and crannies that do things. It's another podcast episode. So work within the realms of your relationship. Take care of each other.
yeah.
Take care of yourself so that you can take better care of each other.
Put yourself in positions that allow you to see your partners in a vulnerable state and
Yep.
to see them do something challenging and move through something challenging and overcome that so that you can see that and gain a greater appreciation for them for that.
And put yourself in uncomfortable situations and sit in the dang uncomfortableness.
Yeah.
Don't fight your way out of it. Be uncomfortable.
Do things that help you strengthen your self-reliance.
Right.
And again, always God should always be included, but aside from God in your life, like do things that strengthen your ability to rely on you and not feel that you need anything outside of God and yourself,
Right.
um, to live the way that you want to live and be the way that you want to be.
Boom.
Boom.
Another 30-ish minutes of
Yeah, that's great.
magic delivered from our mouths to your ear holes. You're welcome. We love each and every one of you. We'd really love if you would like, comment, and share this thing because let's be honest, you're being kind of greedy, keeping Ashley and Justin to yourself.
I mean, I do not disagree.
How could you? How could you?
All right, we love you
But on
guys. We'll see
that
you next
note,
time. Bye.